Welcome, friends,
to the How-To Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
And I'm Uncle Dan.
And I'm Uncle Doug.
And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is gold, I say. But it leads you to a better world.
But it can also be a scary world. Things work differently now.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it alive.
Never fear. That's why we're here.
We're your audio uncles. And with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields,
we're going to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
After all, you only get the one that we know of, so you better make the most of it.
Hello, guys.
Well,
Hello.
hi there.
It seems like we talked just yesterday.
Oh.
We did?
Well, and not just talked. We raised funds.
Yes, we unfortunately they weren't for us.
No,
but they're the next best thing. You guys, many of you may have joined us for that. What a ball we had with the cognitive dissonance guys,
So much
with
fun.
the scathing guys, with Andrew and Thomas from Opening Arguments, a whole slew of celebritant podcasters. And we raised, it looks like it's going to exceed $130,000.
Yeah, it was absolutely the Woodstock of Ponzi middle-aged white men.
It was. And boy, that was super fun. And I hope you joined us. I imagine they'll probably have that up on their YouTube channel, don't you think?
Yeah, you can go and watch it if you want to.
And if you do go to, if you didn't watch it and you'd go and watch our segment, if that tickles your fancy, make sure to watch the next 5 minutes of the Scathing Atheist segment for a little surprise appearance.
Yes.
You're going to have to wait longer than 5 minutes. But yeah, I mean, they're worth watching anyway because they're funny guys. So,
But there was a cameo, and we're going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
It was very good. And if you love jokes about the California Gold Rush, oh my God, this, you guys, you are going to die. So that was super fun. Thank you for everyone who contributed and helped us not be the last place podcast, which is very important to us.
We're
And,
not last. We're not last.
I think we may be third.
Yeah, I think we might have been third. Let's just say we're third.
A distant third, but
Yeah.
it's still on the medals platform.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, thanks for that. We have a great show today. I am going to talk about a thing that absolutely should not be, and I want you to see if you can guess it beforehand.
And I'm going to talk about some things that absolutely should be,
Yeah.
but aren't.
Unfortunately.
But if they were, they'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring it home by talking about a failure in leadership that I am most definitely not grateful for.
Yeah.
And so wonderful show, not too high a body count. And, don't forget about all the other places you can be in contact with your Uncle Love here, like Joe running the unofficial Heretic Hangout Facebook page. Vern's getting more content up on YouTube. The merch, come on, get you some merch.
Why wouldn't you want a How-To Heretic skateboard and or throw pillow?
Yeah. Or a how to heretic prospector's pick.
Or why don't you think
soon.
about getting a How-To Heretic tank top that you can wear to get vaccinated in?
Yay.
Boom. You know what I mean? You don't have to roll up the sleeve. It's already there.
Excellent.
Show your pride. All right, let's do it.
Uncle Doug,
Yellow.
I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you in a basement, and I'm seeing you surrounded by cat fur and empty vodka bottles.
Liquor
How
bottles,
close am I?
Exactly. Well, as long as you don't see the body in the corner, we're fine.
Well, that's what he's looking for.
That's yeah. I'm scanning. I'm still scanning. How am I doing so far?
Pretty good. But anyone who knows anything about me knows about my vodka.
Hey,
Are you saying that I'm cheating? That I'm doing a warm read?
So you guys remember how just this last week we mentioned in the beginning of the show, we joined our friends Tom and Cecil from the Cognitive Dissonance podcast to raise some dough for the good guys in the Georgia runoff races for U.S. Senate.
Yeah, we done that.
Yeah, that was a ball. Those guys were awesome. And I bring them up because they made an episode of their show. I don't know if you guys heard this a few weeks back about the huge problems with forensic science in police investigation and convictions. the forensic science, and it was pretty fucking alarming, I must say. The quote science of all the scientific parts of the actual science of forensic science is terrifyingly thin for such huge matters of literal life and death. It was just a couple. I should have put the episode number they did. It's well worth a listen. But their discussion about all that reminded me of something I've been wanting to talk about for ages. And that is something a little less scientific, but nonetheless is bafflingly still part of some police investigations all the time. So way back when I was a baby, Mark, I worked at a fabrication shop in L.A., and we'd all go out to lunch at the cheap places around the shop in Chatsworth, which is a lovely part of Los Angeles, believe me. And whenever we went to the Chinese buffet, my friend would fake read his fortune cookie with feigned dismay and say, "Psychics will lead police to your rotting corpse." It was and is still hilarious, I think, but it speaks to a serious problem. And that is the cultural acceptance in the U.S. and other parts of the world.
Rotting corpses.
Of rotting corpses and Chinese fortune cookies. That people who have magic dreams about horrible events should and are able to direct police investigations and even send people to trial. Should police and prosecutors consult the tarot or examine chicken entrails in order to know where to dig? Or tell families who took their child and did what to them? I'm going to go against the editorial policy of the How To Heretic and say, no, they absolutely fucking should not. Yet even today, in the stable and sane US of A of 2020, with its totally flawless and fair judicial system, psychics are too often given a place at the table in investigations into super serious matters.
Oh,
no. Now, as a person who works in film and television, I hate to place the blame on my industry, but a ton of the blame is deservedly directed at the film and television industry.
Yeah.
There are too many shows about cops with psychic powers or psychics helping cops, or garbage, quote, reality shows about psychics like Crossing Over with John Edward, which I don't think is on anymore, who, like Eli said last week, has been exposed as a charlatan. Even though
not that harmed his reputation at all.
No, but his show's not on anymore. Anyway, I don't give a shit. So even though one of the, quote, reality TV shows purporting to show actual crime-solving detectives, detective work by psychics, got canceled after 3 seasons because they never solved a single thing. But it still got 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh. And did they know they were going to get canceled?
Yeah, that's the test.
And by the way, there's a thing that lawyers and prosecutors and defense attorneys in America talk about called the CSI effect, right? Where juries just believe, no, you send it to the lab, you go clickety, clickety, click,
right,
and a picture of the killer downloads, right? Like from
enhance.
Exactly. Click from a hair follicle. And this is part of it too. Like fiction and quote unquote nonfiction have kind of conditioned people to believe, oh yeah, there's something there, right?
Right.
Now, to follow on
Zoom
that,
in and enhance.
Yeah. 2020 is not the ideal year to be overly fair to the police, but in a modicum of fairness to the police, a study showed that only 1/3 of U.S. police departments have ever had any real association with a psychic. And
a third?
A third.
That's only?
It's that
because
low.
That seems like an insanely high number.
I thought it would be higher than that.
Oh my
God. And far fewer than that number sought them out, under 5%. So maybe it's because I toil in the American credulity mines every week. I was shocked to find the number so low. And that might have something to do with some surprisingly encouraging stats, Daniel.
Okay.
The Baylor Institute did a study in 2006, I think, where they found that only 13% of Americans believe in psychics. Which
really?
is
wow.
Yeah. Now, twice the number of women believe in them as men, for what that's worth. And also kind of surprisingly, Southerners are less likely to believe in them than Yankees in the Northeast.
No kidding.
Looking at regional.
So strange.
13% is an encouragingly low number, though in actual numbers it's about 16 million people, which is still too many people. Psychics have kind of embedded themselves in the American mud, starting with the spiritualists of the 19th century, then turning into an entire communications technology industry to bilk people out of their cash in the late 20th century, which brought me to my new favorite word, fake lore. Basically an attempt to artificially graft some spiritual or cultural idea into the organic growth of folklore where it kind of doesn't belong. But yeah, so getting back to that earlier stat, Dan, while a third of police departments say they have dealt with with psychics.
Yeah, that number's a lot lower.
It's a lot lower. Only 5% actually sought them out. So that's kind of encouraging. Right.
Yeah. So that means the psychics just showed up and said, I want to solve your murder?
They do that.
They flood them. So I'll get to that. So how do psychics behind the police tape or elsewhere do what they do? They have a variety of, quote, methods to find the various and sundry Jones Benet. Thank you. Psychometry is common, which is to handle an object associated with the missing person and gain visions like an old toy or article of clothing. Your standard clairvoyance, which is basically extrasensory perception.
Right.
Remote viewing, which is just having visions of past or current events. Postcognition, which is essentially seeing, past events clearly. Mental telepathy, and even dowsing.
Yay!
Every single one of these methods has been thoroughly researched and debunked as trash, but bad ideas never go away. They just get monetized. Now, remember when I said the police seldom initiate contact with psychics? As we discussed, that's true. The calls almost always come in the other direction. Whenever there's a high-profile missing person or murder, they come out of the Victorian drawing room's woodwork and bother the shit out of the police.
It's such a pain in the...
It's such a pain. It's
the kind of balls that you have to have on you to decide that you should insert yourself into some family's deepest tragedy.
Yeah. So you guys will appreciate this. In one high-profile case close to home, that of the disappearance of Elizabeth Smart, who we've brought up many times on the show, the Salt Lake City Police Department received 9,000 unsolicited tips from self-described psychics.
No.
9,000.
Jesus Christ.
Burying the precious few leads from more credible sources under an avalanche of bullshit.
Yeah.
One premonition said she was in a concrete vault that had been made to house ancient native remains in the foothills overlooking downtown.
Oh my God, you're such an idiot. That's 10 different layers of idiot right there.
Totally. One had her body in a 55-gallon drum on the Texas coast. Not one of them had her alive and chained to a religious lunatic wandering the city in a veil within miles of her family home during her hellacious 9-month ordeal. So 0 for 9,000, guys.
Right.
So other than showing there is no gift to their gift, being unable to aid the rescue of a living missing child, their bullshit clogged the very limited resources of the taxpayer-funded agency charged with locating her. Oftentimes, psychics will contact the families of the missing directly, claiming some special knowledge.
Unethical.
Yes, this is particularly scummy, but weirdly, most people who study psychics and their motivations conclude that many of them earnestly feel they are doing the right thing.
Oh, I'm sure that that's true.
When you understand that, I don't know. I don't know if I agree.
I don't know about most, but I'm sure that that's true in a lot of cases.
It may be, but let me expound.
Go on.
Just to jump in real quick, good intentions does not excuse crime. Just saying.
Good intentions,
you know what I mean?
and does not excuse terrible outcome for a family,
Right.
Right.
So there are basically 3 ways they can arrive at their conclusions. And again, it's arguable whether some of them think they're really doing it, and some of them know that it's a scam, right? Or some combination of the two.
Right.
So 3 ways they can do this. First, they just straight up announce they know where the missing person or body is in the media or whatever, on a police answering machine. Secondly, they cold read. Now, this involves contact with the family or investigators, and the psychic will begin to throw out some very vague notions and see how other people respond to it. Like, I see water. I feel like there's something starting with the letter O involved or nearby, or maybe an R. So just to make sense of that, all of you listening at this very moment are near something that starts with an O or an R. Then there's
are they?
There's the hot read, which is a tad more work, but far more effective in being seen as legit. In most missing person cases, a bunch of public info accumulates quickly. News articles about the missing, pleas from the family on television, police statements, etc. A decent hot reader can then approach the family and flesh out details, making them seem truly psychic. And in some more high-profile cases, the police unwittingly show the hot reader non-public information to aid their, quote, gifts, like secret evidence, maybe information on possible suspects, maps of areas searched, all this making the psychic's job of faking up a chain of events all the more simple.
Yep.
So let's explore the last two techniques a bit. If you're in the guessing business, best guess on the safe side. In most cases, the psychics will describe the kidnapper or murderer as a man. Smart move. The vast majority of murderers and kidnappers are men. They will say, I see a tattoo. Also, a huge number of abducting or murderous men have already spent time in jail. Many of them have jailhouse tattoos. They'll say, the body is near water or in the woods. That's incredibly common prognostication.
That's right? Most of the world.
And also, Doug, when you get rid of a body, do you dump it in the food court of the mall? Exactly. Or remote places with few onlookers where the soil and the water will conceal and decompose your crime, right?
Well, I don't put it in the food court of the mall again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
right. You only make that mistake once.
That turned into a whole thing. Then, on the occasion that a hunter or a fisherman, or very commonly a dog walker, finds the body, the psychic can claim vindication. The same for the other vague bullshit. Oh my God, the killer was a man. Oh my God, there was something starting with an O nearby. The overpass or the office building. This is what skeptical paranormal investigator Benjamin Radford calls postmonition, confirming your vision long after the fact. Then postmonitions get whipped up in local and shitty national media as correct premonitions made before the conclusion of the case, when they really are not. So one of the most vile and pernicious of these people is a woman by the name of Sylvia Browne. Have you guys heard of her?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah. So she's still pulling this con out there.
I thought she was... Didn't she die?
You know what? I have not looked at the obituaries for her, but last I saw she was still going.
Well, she no doubt died of unforeseen circumstances.
So Brown told the frantic mother of the missing Amanda Berry, quote, "She's not alive, honey." And she also told the parents of the abducted 11-year-old Sean Hornbeck on live television that he too was dead. Thankfully, she was 100% wrong in both cases, and the missing were recovered alive, if quite a bit worse for wear.
And only after their family had been deeply traumatized by this experience.
In fact, the mother of Amanda Berry died before Amanda was found.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So unless you were abducted by an aggrieved parent in a divorce, in a really charged divorce, which is the most common kind of abduction, you are statistically going to be dead within 36 hours. Right. So like the other cold and hot readers, Brown was playing the odds when she so brutally misled the families of those missing children. There's another thing about Brown specifically that nags at me. She may be, and I could be wrong. My vision is clogged. She may be dead. Dan may be right.
She is dead.
Okay, good. She's dead. She was one of the most high-profile practitioners of this grieving family predation. Yet her fee for parting the mists to see the fate and whereabouts of your missing loved one was just $700 an hour. And she only
$700 an hour?
Yeah, but here's the thing. She usually just gives you 1 hour. One and done. It's not even that. So she usually just charges a family $700 with no follow-up. Now, I know for some people $700 is a lot of money, but I wouldn't think twice to post that as a reward for my missing cat. What would you pay for the information that led you to your beloved missing child, right? Mm-hmm. If she had a track record of finding dead girls or live boys, to paraphrase Louisiana Governor Edwin Edwards, she could charge 20 times that and people would find the money.
Sure.
It smells of a substantial insecurity about her gift, Like, it's enough money to pay the bills and that even poor families could scrape it together, but not enough to get sued over when it inevitably falls flat. It's very fishy money to me. So Sylvia Browne claimed a success rate of more than 85%.
Fuck off.
In locating,
that must be true.
It's totally true in locating missing persons or murder cases, which is astounding because in the U.S. an average of only 60% of homicide cases come to some kind of conclusion at all, with or without psychics every year. So she claims you're 25% better off with her than even the best homicide departments in the country. That's quite an extraordinary claim.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, in 2010, the Skeptical Inquirer magazine, employer of the aforementioned investigator Benjamin Radford, examined Sylvia Browne's claims of having been totally or mostly right in 115 cases and concluded, quote, Browne has not even mostly been right in a single case. Now, I'm only singling out Browne here because of her profile, and that profile has invited so much investigation and public critique. Right. She's just a very public face of a grotesque industry of crooks and vultures. And that's not my word for them. It's James the Amazing Randy's word for them. That's right. The gnome-like grandmaster debunker and friend of Uncle Dan, the late, great, honest liar James Randi, fixed his stunningly keen gaze, for a man his age, on Sylvia Browne for all her awful crimes against frantic families and found her wanting. In a 2007 interview on CNN's Anderson Cooper 360, Randi and Anderson had a very nice intergenerational gay chat about Sylvia Browne and her emotional extortion scheme. In response to a question from Cooper asking Randi if he was surprised by the Montel Williams TV clip of Browne telling the very much alive Sean Hornbeck's parents that he was dead, Randi replied, no, I'm not surprised at all, because all of these people who say that they can speak with the dead, all of them, including Sylvia Browne, of course, are like vultures. They sit in a tree and they wait for the grieving to come by, grieving people who are vulnerable that really need some help, and are naive enough to think that, well, if she appears on Montel Williams, Montel Williams wouldn't deceive us. Of course, she must be the real thing.
Montel Williams, for you young folks, was a talk show host back in
when that was like
all
of daytime TV.
Yeah.
So, goddamn it again, TV industry. But anyway, Randi was more than just a splendiferous gay wizard and debunker par excellence. No, he put considerable money where his mouth was. The James Randi Foundation offered, and I don't know if they still do, Dan, but as far as I know,
this offer is now off the table.
It died with Randi?
Yeah.
Oh, they offered a $1 million cash award to any psychic or spoonbender or necromancer that could, under controlled, scientifically observable circumstances, prove their supernatural claims.
Yeah.
As he told Anderson Cooper, he extended the $1 million prize to Sylvia Browne, who makes her, miserable $700 an hour wage 1 hour at a time. But she said, and this is for real, that she, the greatest mystery-solving psychic of her age, could not figure out to get a hold of him. her crystal ball must not have had the Google. Hilarious. So, keen listeners may recall Dan discussing one of Randi's most spectacular takedowns of a fraud, that of the odious hope peddler and snake oil bastard Peter Popov in episode 55. That's a fantastic story. So here's a little aside. I thought the Amazing Randi was the first magician / bullshit debunker to go hard after the frauds of spiritualists and psychics. He was not. No, dear uncles. None other than the great Harry Houdini.
Yes, indeed.
The magician's magician, and perhaps the most famous escape artist of all time, was a member of the Scientific American Committee that offered a cash prize to any medium or psychic that could prove their spiritual claims. And in so doing, he took down some of the leading shysters of the age. Some people may know about the seances his beloved wife Bess held every Halloween after his death in an attempt to contact him. You guys know about those, right?
Yep.
That was a very famous thing. What I didn't know about those famous seances was that they were a continued effort on the couple's behalf to debunk spiritualism and mediumship. They came up with a code that only the two of them would have known,
right?
Derived from their favorite song. And if her celebrity seances ever located him on the other side, his spirit would say, Rosabelle, believe. So after 10 years of annual Halloween high-profile seances, Bess announced the effort complete, saying 10 years is long enough to wait for any man. So as of this recording, the huge cash awards offered by Harry Houdini and his successor James Randi remain uncollected. The FBI says that to date, they are unaware of a single case that was solved or even substantially aided by the advice of psychics or clairvoyants. That's not to say it couldn't happen, but in tens of thousands of cases, thus far, it has not. So, what are we to make of these people claiming inexplicable, extraordinary supernatural abilities with 0% real success rate, and postmonitions don't fucking count, who present themselves to desperate families in need of hope and inundate the voicemails and emails of the limited investigative police departments with totally unsubstantiated bullshit? Like I said before, most of the articles I read about psychic debunking concluded with a bizarrely extended presumption of innocence, even good intentions. But if you're using cold or hot reading techniques to sell your garbage to frantic people in crisis, I don't know how that can be well-intentioned. It may be possible that some of these kooks are so dim that they're somehow unaware that the techniques they're using are literally tools of deception, even as they use them. But that's a pretty special brand of stupid, if you ask me. So I know Hanlon's razor exhorts us to never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity. It can probably be a little bit of both, right?
Sure. There's no reason why some of them can't have nefarious intent and others be just genuinely hapless morons. It doesn't even have to be stupidity. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
It can just be, I have literally seen it where someone says something offhand, when I was a child in elementary school. One day I said, wouldn't it be funny if there was a fire alarm today during the assembly?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one.
Right.
And for a few weeks, I entertained the question of whether or not I was psychic.
Right.
I think that kind of an event can happen in someone's life, and it can happen to adults. And if it seems sort of outrageous enough, they can genuinely believe it. And there are people who will, quote unquote, train you to be a psychic.
Right. And especially if you're in a community where that kind of thing is believable.
Yeah. You go to Sedona, Arizona for psychic training, everyone around you is going to believe in it. Everyone around you is going to confirm to you that you are a psychic.
Yeah.
And you'll be trained in like cold reading techniques and warm reading techniques and stuff without you even knowing that that's what they're training you on.
And
They'll
yet
tell
you
that
still
it's
can't
about
find
your
your car keys.
intuition. Yeah.
I'm astonished, and maybe I'm maybe this has happened, that there hasn't been a movie or TV movie of a serial killer who then poses as a psychic to lead the police to his own victims to make money.
That's a great idea.
There you go. It's kind of Dexter meets Psych or something.
Or
like
leads
that.
them to a competing serial killer's bodies to get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
endless.
That's the sequel. That's the sequel.
Yeah, it's endless. Yeah. I love it. So there you go. Psychics in police work. It should not be a thing. Do not. If someone is missing in your family and a psychic calls, hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Because they knew you were going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
get out of here.
Uncle Mark.
Hi.
Well, 2020 has been a peachy keen year for us all.
Yep.
What with
smooth
the murder,
sailing, clear skies, following seas,
pandemics,
easy breezy.
Yep, pandemics and social unrest and murder hornets. But I guess it could always get worse.
I don't need
It's
as an atheist, I just feel like that's tempting fate.
But listen, Christmas shoes. That's coming.
That's
Christmas shoes.
That's true. There's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well,
make it worse.
Yeah,
okay,
make it worse.
Well, okay, listen.
Or better. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
We'll figure it out. According to Andy Williams, it's the most wonderful time of the year. There are kids jingle belling and everyone's telling you be of good cheer, which is great for some, but not everyone thinks of this as the happiest season of all. Some folks don't connect to all that sleigh bell ringling, ring-ting-tingling bullshit. Especially this insane Krampus of a year. Yeah. There may be an especially large swath of people who would rather deck their halls with poison ivy, fa la 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 la, fuck your face. So, in honor of the curmudgeons of the world, I've decided to launch the holiday season by summoning us some demons.
Yay!
Stuff that in your stocking. Now, I'm relatively new to demonology, so I've taken as my text a cute little manuscript from sometime in the mid-17th century, known as the Lesser Key of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I think that's got a mention once before.
Maybe.
On the show. I think when we talked about Pazuzu, it might have popped up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to steal your demon thunder here, but go on.
No. We'll get to Demon Thunder later on.
All right.
Anyway, The Lesser Key of Solomon is a book that nobody knows who wrote it, but we definitely can point to some source material. The most direct source is almost certainly the work of a 16th century Dutchman named Johann Weyer. Hailing from a town in the Netherlands delightfully called Grave. I'm sure it's Grave, but whatever. Weyer, a.k.a. Jan Veer, Johann Veer, Johannes Veer, Jean Veer, Johannes Weyerus, and also Piscanarius, was a physician.
Piscanarius is my safe word.
Yeah, exactly. When things get a little veer.
I thought that was a paint color. I thought that's somewhere between kind of bright yellow and beige, but whatever.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. A little Piscanarius.
Yeah.
I think the exterior of my building is Piscanarius.
It is Piscanarius.
Anyway, Weyer was a physician who may or may not have been trained to be so, but considering the state of medical practice at the time, would that really have mattered? And a prominent occultist. So he was an interesting cat. For instance, he railed against the then popular anti-witchcraft book Malleus Maleficarum, which I talked about briefly in episode 161, and said that witchcraft didn't exist, and that the women accused of it were likely just mentally ill, which is a pretty progressive position to take. And
he probably got burned for that, didn't he?
Well, he managed to survive it. He was a man, after all.
Yeah.
But he may well have been the very first person to take that position. So that's pretty cool. On the flip side, though the women accused of witchcraft weren't in cahoots with the devil, such cahooting was definitely possible. And the way to do it was through demons. Oh boy, did he like him some demons. Wrote all about them. His most influential work was the 1563 classic. You guys will remember this, of course. It's called De Prestigiis Daemonum et Incantationibus ac Veniciis.
Oh, it's just a family favorite. We read that every Christmas Eve.
Rolls off the tongue,
doesn't it?
Yeah. Rolls off the forked tongue.
Yeah, exactly. Translated roughly to On the Illusions of Demons, and the Spells and Poisons too. In this, Weyer insisted that demons were like totes real and would appear to those who called on them. To what end? Well, to answer that, we would need to turn to an appendix to De Prestigiis, which then took off as its own fun tome titled, Pseudomonarchia Daemonum.
Which means Eat, Pray, Love.
Which means Eat, Pray, Love, right. Or the alternate translation, the fake monarchy of demons. In that, he lists 69 different demons, gives their sigils, and helps the reader out with the best time and ritual to conjure each. Yeah.
He's encouraging summoning them.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just a bit.
He was kind of railing against it. It's hard. It's actually literally hard
Here's
to
how
know.
you get a hold of this guy, but don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what his angle really was to me, actually. Because, he would rail against the devil and all this devil stuff, but then he was like, but here's how to do it. Yeah. Right. Very, very strange.
Don't ever do this.
Right. Here's how to make dynamite at home, kids, but don't try it. He didn't make it all up, of course. He referenced previous grimoires, which is what you call a book of spooky magic. But surely he made up a bunch of it because, and I think you'll agree after I introduce you to a few of these guys, making up demons would be totally fun. Anyway, Veyer's book was a big influence on the Lesser Key of Solomon, which contains in it the Ars Goetia.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a
A
mess.
very famous spell.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a whole book. It's a mess of a phrase, presumably taking the words ars from the Latin meaning art, and goetia from Greek meaning charm or conjure. Ugh, don't get me started on Greek-Latin hybridizations.
Well, I think that was the name of a spell that Aleister Crowley was trying to pull off, some huge summoning thing in his house in Scotland, but it was like a 75-day thing.
It was the book that he used for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
As a matter of fact, he invented a whole bunch of like new sort of geometric things that he would base on the Ars Goetia, and the sort of goetic demons were a point of his study. So
Gotcha.
there you go. Anyway, it became the Ars Goetia, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing it badly, and you can at me or not, but it became the go-to compendium for anyone looking for a good demon or two.
For all your conjuring needs.
Absolutely. Aleister Crowley based a bunch of his dopey nonsense on it. It expanded Veyer's 69 demons into a far more complete 72. The goetic
Just round
demons,
it up a little bit.
Oh, sure. You gotta get some fun out of it.
Well, the thing is, if it's 69 demons, then the kids are all just going to snicker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm amazed I didn't throw in a 69 joke. I don't know how that happened.
How did you miss that?
Anyway, the goetic demons are considered pretty definitive. I mean, sure, there are all manner of lesser imps and demons, but the great Satan himself is red and scaly with a bifurcated tail, and he carries a hay fork. Oh, no, I'm kidding. He's white. Also, this isn't about him. This is about his generals, the princes and kings of his domain, his hell's best and brightest. So, each of these crazy bastards has their own set of characteristics and specializes in different fun ways that they can help the person who conjures them. Let's meet a few, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's.
First, on both Weyer's and Weyer's list and the Ars Goetia, is our old friend that Uncle Mark introduced us to way back in episode 9. That's Baal.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when Mark talked about Baal, he was a Canaanite god. Well, not anymore. Demon makers, Green Party progressives that they were, loved recycling. So they'd take all kinds of old gods and demote them to underworld henchmen. So Baal is the first king of hell and head of the infernal powers. He has 3 heads, a toad, a man, and a cat. So, you probably won't have too much trouble spotting him.
It's like the wind in the willows.
Yeah, exactly. He speaks in a, quote, raucous but well-formed voice, not unlike Uncle Dan at a particularly spirited karaoke rendition of Heart's classic, Alone. So, why would you want to summon this 3-headed sumbitch? Well, Baal can teach you the subtle and totally creepy art of invisibility.
Oh.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
That comes in handy when you have the head of a toad and a cat and a man.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
People just stare. People are terrible.
Oh, they're the worst. They'll make comments on the subway. You don't want that. And invisibility is pretty cool, I guess, especially for the shy conjurers out there in the occult land. But not as cool as our next friend, Payman. Also, Paymonia. A lot of these dudes have a whole bunch of names. Unlike the naughtier kings of hell, Payman is a total suck-up to his boss, Lucifer, and it pays off, too, because this guy is useful. Face northwest, light whatever candles you need, a nice sacrifice wouldn't go amiss, and then watch for a marching band and a dromedary. That's right. Our buddy Payman is a good-looking fellow with a feminine face, wearing a beautiful crown, led by a host of demons playing trumpets and cymbals, and riding a one-hump camel.
What?
Now, yeah, well, you got to have a mount. So you may think of Payman as the supernatural bad guy in the homegrown Utah horror film Hereditary.
Yeah, it was quite a successful horror film.
Yes, indeed. Or possibly the 1985 classic Ghoulies. But he's so
Ghoulies?
much... Yes.
I remember Ghoulies.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't remember it at all.
Little green dude coming out of the toilet was the cover art.
That was Paimon?
I guess so.
All right.
But he's so much more than just some dude who torments unlucky families. Here's the trick. You summon Paimon, whatever, the purple pie man, whatever you want to call him. And when he appears, you let him ask you some questions, like whatever he wants. And you answer honestly and to the best of your ability. Great. Now it's your turn, which is awesome because the dude knows everything. He'll teach you art, science, philosophy, sure, but he'll also teach you secret things. He'll unravel the mysteries of the earth, wind, and water. He knows where treasure is hidden. He knows what's going on behind closed doors. He knows if you've been bad or good for... No, wait. Nope, that's a different guy.
It's a different demon.
It's another king of hell.
Right, exactly. If you're really nice, though, Payman may even bestow a lordship on you. So, boom. Enjoy knowing all the things, Sir Uncles.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. There are a few other kings, including Asmodeus, who I talked about in episode 63, if you want to check him out. But let's move on to some princes and dukes.
Love it.
Now, you hear that crazy horn section? That's all those trumpets playing at once and drums and, I don't know, every instrument you can think of? Well, if it swings and grooves, it's Duke Ellington. But if it's a cacophonous mess, that's got to be Duke Amdusius. That's right, Amdusius. He has a human body with claws for hands and feet and a unicorn head. You wouldn't think that would be great for making music, and you'd be right. Also associated with thunder, it's said that you can hear Amdusius' voice in a storm.
Huh.
He can also bend trees at will. Not sure how that's useful, but, might make a good party trick or something.
These days, the last tree bender.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those superpowers that he just kind of sits in the jet while everybody else is fighting. We'll call you if we need you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll bend any tree, guys.
Any tree, man. Check it out. Do you want me to bend a tree?
Okay.
I'll bend the
Good
biggest
luck.
tree you
Good
got.
luck. Okay, I'll be here.
Okay. Bye. Anyway, there's another Hell Duke named Agaris. I say Duke, but maybe Duchess is more accurate. Agaris is the original non-binary demon, appearing as both a pretty young woman and a pale old man riding a crocodile. So there you go. Agaris is
okay. Like
what?
You're sitting around, you're the guy that's writing this grimoire. Let's see. Pretty young lady and old guy on crocodile. Nailed it. Who's next?
I think with this one, I think he was at one point theoretically, if my memory serves, he was bottled and thrown into a river or the Nile. I think maybe.
Oh, and remember when we had Lauren O'Neill on the show? She was talking about how one of the words, like Leviathan, wasn't it Hebrew? There's like interchangeability with crocodile or alligator.
Maybe.
So
anyway, I think maybe he might have ridden out of the Nile.
Okay.
On the crocodile. I'm not sure. Anyway, Agaris is useful for compelling runaways to return, or making people who won't take a hint that they've overstayed their welcome leave. So that's handy.
Having an old man ride in on a crocodile will do that to a party.
Sure.
Party's over, kids.
He will also teach you, Agaris will also teach you every language on Earth, just so that you won't miss any rude jokes he might want to tell you.
All right.
It's off on...
Seems like kind of a cool uncle.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Orobas, he's a prince of hell who's human in the middle and horse on either end.
Oh.
That is
Wow.
human arms and torso with a horse's head and legs.
Oh.
No word on his, He'll give true answers about the past, present, and future. So he's great to have at bar trivia night and your local bookie.
I think those are just called true answers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, fine. Done.
Only about the past. He'll lie about the future.
That's right. He'll lie about either the past, present, or future. Up to you to figure out which one it is. He is also good at helping people gain favor with friends and enemies. He was around long before How to Win Friends and Influence People came out. And he never, this is interesting, never deceives anyone, which is an interesting quality for a demon to have.
And does he ride a pangolin?
I no word on his mount.
Oh.
He will protect his conjurer also from any other spirits which may want to tempt them. So he seems like a really good guy to have.
You know what would be awesome? An awesome crazy billionaire money project is to make like a carousel representing all these figures.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The carousel of hell. That would be fantastic. Somebody send us money.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
It ain't going to be cheap.
That right there, that is a good Patreon goal.
Yeah. Just children sobbing as it goes around. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop.
Yeah, it's 3-headed scaries. So, are you a little rough around the edges? Does your motorcycle gang think of you as lacking in gentility and class?
All day.
Maybe you should summon Marquis Nabarius. According to Vire, Nabarius is the most valiant marquis in hell. Sometimes
except for
depicted
Marky
as a crow.
Mark, but fair.
Yeah. Sometimes depicted as a crow, and sometimes as a 3-headed dog, and sometimes as a crow with 3 dog heads. Nabarius
God.
will make you cunning in rhetoric and teach you the art of gracious living.
What is this guy's image of hell?
Well,
like it's just very polite down there. So weird.
It depends on who you're summoning.
I'm just trying to wrap.
It's like a salon, right?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of intellectuals walking around having conversations and teaching each other all the languages.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around the scenario of being taught which fork to use by a raven with 3 dog heads.
No, darling, that's the fish fork.
Oh, don't be so gauche. That's
the runcible spoon.
I was in a band in high school called Runcible Spoon.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love you guys.
Thanks. Our early work was good, but
yeah,
you sold out. Once you went electric,
really
it was no
have
good.
gone electronic.
And then Yoko ruined everything.
That's right. So I think I'll close out with my personal favorite demon, at least as of right now, Prince Stolas. Now, Stolas is the demon that makes me know for sure that hell is better than heaven, because while heaven is full of angels, and Doug has taught us how terrifying that thought is.
and so many of our patrons.
Right. Yeah, if you take the Bible's word for it. Hell has Stolas. Now, Prince Stolas is a long-legged owl with an adorable little crown on his head. Summon him, and he'll teach you astronomy, because obviously he is an owl after all. And he's also super good with herbs, plants, and precious stones. So there
First
you
of
go.
all, I think all owls should have little crowns on their heads.
Right.
So I would
And
like the
and how
incoming
cute is it?
Secretary of the Interior to make that happen.
Yeah. And just picture an owl with those long stork legs or something. It's adorable.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I guess the point here is, if you need some help in your life, I suppose you could go to God and ask for help, but knowing his track record and infuriating, mysterious ways, you'll probably do a lot better if you just do a little research and summon just the right demon for your needs.
Yeah, this makes me think hell is a good place to get like a classical education.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, I need to learn Greek and learn how to shoot an arrow. What demon do I summon?
Yeah.
There is one. You'll find him.
There is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You might summon more than one. You never know. It just depends on how much livestock you have to sacrifice. Yeah,
well,
so
I love the
demons-
Mars Goeta. We need to get. Can we buy one of these?
I don't know. I'm sure we can. We should. We need to have one in the how-to library.
Yeah, we need a nice grimoire. If anybody has a nice grimoire they know about, let us know.
A nice grimoire
yeah,
or a
exactly.
knight's grimoire? A
A
nice
knight's
one. I want a
yeah.
nice copy.
I would like it to have belonged to a man-at-arms from
Are they required
the
to
14th century.
It feels like if it's not leather bound, it doesn't count. Is
In
that
human
true?
skin, naturally. Like
Yeah,
horses and
exactly.
automatons. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
so-
that was a wonderful visit to hell.
There you go. Go to hell, everybody.
Bye.
Moving on. Gentlemen,
Hello.
look, it was just Thanksgiving, and I am going to give thanks to a whole bunch of people who are giving us money.
Hooray.
We do this show for free. It's free for everybody. Y'all can have it for free. But some of you, if you want to, can show your love for us and give us a little bit of money, and then you get an early edition of the show. There's the we do extra free content for our patrons only. That's some fun stuff.
Yeah.
So all of that's available, and we got a whole bunch of people. We got some folks to thank this week. So this week's best people are Skullbeard.
Yay, Skullbeard.
Shannon and
Uh-oh.
oh, there we go. Shannon and Drew.
Oh, yes.
Patricia and Uncle Doug.
Oh.
You need to give a saint to Napoleon.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's that's a steep climb. Well, not really. It was only like 5 feet
specifically,
tall.
this is Napoleon blown apart.
Okay, Napoleon blown apart. Your saint is Saint Zardoz, the besmirched of the Florida Panhandle. He is the patron saint of all liquid cheeses, bands with colors in their names. And before you ask, yes, living color counts.
Yeah.
I know that's very important. And, of course, that funny feeling when after months and months of quarantining and discipline in the pandemic, you're counting money at your new business and you put your hand underneath your mask to lick your fingers while you do and realize it might have all been for naught.
Oh, no. Did you do that?
I totally did that. Oh, fuck. Oh, so Napoleon blown apart. This might be the last time you get a saint from me.
Your uncles are not the smartest bulbs on the tree, you guys.
No, we're very job oriented. We're very task oriented.
But we do love you dearly, and that was a great saint.
That was a great saint. I made a film I didn't understand. It can be said of many films with Sean. So yeah, if you can't afford a Sean Connery-based saint, you can certainly afford to put Zardoz in the stars. That's free. Go to anywhere you can give us stars. Write a review. We've been getting some very nice reviews. Let's keep that streak alive.
I've forgotten. I was saying I said at one point that we were going to start reading random reviews.
Well, pull one up and read it.
I'm going to pull one up.
Yeah.
You guys vamp for a second.
We'll vamp for a few minutes.
Let's just read our 1-star reviews.
First of all, we don't have any of those. First of all, if you haven't seen Zardoz, the John Borman, 1975-3 classic,
Yeah.
and you want to spend an evening having no idea what the fuck is going on, and see Sean Connery in a wedding dress, and he clearly does not know what the fuck is going on, then this is the film for you. We need to do that with the Gamboys. We need to do Zardoz with them.
Yes.
It's a slog.
Does it have a religious thing to
Oh yeah,
it?
there's a whole Egyptian kind of cult thing to it, right?
All right. Are you listening out there? Everybody write to them at the same time now and tell them that they have to
Tell
do
the
Zardoz
Gamboys,
with us.
enough of their shit.
All right. Here's today's review of the day. This is by Realogic, who says, "All hail the uncles.
Yes.
The uncles are your true gods. All other gods are false gods. Fall to your knees and worship them. They will answer your prayers and provide for you always. Put your faith in them and in them alone. Praise be the uncles, for they will grant ye sainthood and eternal life in heaven, although your heaven might not be exactly what you're expecting or wanting or even like a little. But they are gods and it is their way. Please don't smite me. Purple Nurple."
So that is the baseline. Reallogic's review is the baseline. Everybody, you gotta top that. So
Either top that or be so boring that it's cool.
yeah,
One of the
normcore. just kind of normcore it. So
just dive in and write a review. We're sure to appreciate it, and it helps us get the word out to everybody else. So thanks to everyone. Let's move on.
In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Well, Uncle Dan.
Hey.
You know, and we talk about things like miracles on the show from time to time, and I think if you can do miracles, it's probably incumbent on you to do them. You should do them in times of crisis, but maybe you could just do PR.
Well, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I suppose that's a possibility.
You know, coulda is not the same as shoulda, so maybe what you need is just put a little English on that thing. Turn that frown upside down. Right,
the more ham-fisted and pointless, the better.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I have a nugget for you, dear uncles. I would say that perhaps the most succinct way to describe these last 4 interminable years is a crisis of leadership. No doubt, if we survive,
talking about this podcast?
If we survive this crisis, no doubt ink will be spilled by the barrel to put into words the scope and scale of this failure. As of this record, over 200,000 of our fellow Americans have perished at the hands of this crisis.
Oh, we're hurtling towards 300.
Yep, and you know, the worldwide total is obviously far, far higher than that. Although there seems to be hope on the horizon, thousands of us are dying every single day. What makes this nightmare so much more unbearable is that it did not have to happen. Our leaders at nearly every level failed us, and we are paying the price. Those of us who live in red states have been failed even harder. Leaders all over the world, and here in America, from the White House to state houses to city halls, fuck this up 10 ways from Sunday.
Yeah.
But this failure has many fathers, and many leaders of many institutions have blood on their hands. With notable exceptions, the press has failed us, sports franchises have failed us, and of course, religions have failed us. It's truly an expression of how our leaders have failed that the NBA and fucking NASCAR are 2 of the only institutions that did it right.
Goddamn heroes is what they are.
Yeah, who knew? This failure has taken many forms, from the downright negligent homicide and intentional misinformation coming from the Trump administration to the myriad missed opportunities at providing solid leadership out of cowardice or fear of angering the great golden god. It's one of these missed opportunities I would like to talk about today. The vacuum of leadership at the national level has been vast, and although nature abhors a vacuum, it seems to really like dunces. Enter one Russell M. Nelson, President and CEO of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, formerly and soon to be known as the Mormon Church. Once Nelson
the once and future Mormon Church.
Exactly. Once Nelson kicks it and Dallin H. Oaks lays his bony hands on the reins, I'm sure we'll be back to the Mormon Church.
Yeah.
I got news for you. Literally nobody cared when he asked everybody to stop calling it that.
I know.
So
that's true.
It never stopped actually being the Mormon Church,
Yeah.
including Mormons. Like, all of my Mormon friends still use all the terminology that he distinctly asked them not to.
Yeah, which may go against the theme of this segment, but here we go. Clothed with immense power over his millions of adherents and endowed with unimaginable wealth, and after a mere 9 months of the global pandemic, Nelson announced on November 13th, about 2 weeks ago, that he would be releasing a video message to address the crisis on November 20th. Why he needed to hype this announcement for 7 days is anyone's guess, especially when at least 1,000 Americans died each and every one of those days.
Well, he was thinking people probably needed to set their VCRs.
He's 94 years old, folks.
Yeah.
He's 96.
Is he?
Yep.
Well, he was 94 before.
2 years ago.
Fuck, how does that work?
There was quite a bit of speculation as to what would be the contents of this message on Mormon subreddits. Would Nelson finally admonish all Mormons to wear masks at all times outside the home? Would he command the millions of Mormons who hang on his every word to practice strict social distancing? Would he announce the... What's that?
He's a damn doctor.
He's a fucking doctor.
And we'll get to this. Would he announce the cancellation of all church services and all in-class learning at the 4 Mormon universities until the crisis was over? Would he announce that the church would dip into its $100 billion rainy day fund to help fund remote learning for America's children? Would he announce that the church's vast missionary network would lead the way in distributing the vaccine worldwide? Would he, at the very fucking least, admonish Mormons not to travel in the coming week for Thanksgiving, but stay home and mitigate the outbreak? Surely, any and all of those things would not only be well within the church's capabilities, but however belatedly, would have an actual, tangible effect on the world, and would have the added benefit of garnering massive positive public attention for the Mormon church. Well, if you really thought that this leader of this church was going to do something so self-evidently
whatever
positive,
it's called.
yeah,
Right.
exactly, whatever you want to call it, would do something so self-evidently positive and correct, welcome, new listener. You might consider becoming a patron.
Welcome, person from another planet who has never heard of Mormons.
You have stuff that we can teach you.
Yeah.
Russell's long-hyped 11-minute video was an exploration in the least he could do. Before we get into the content, or lack thereof, let's start off with the stagecraft. The majority of the video is an extreme close-up of Nelson's face under stark light. Now, I'm not being ageist, but Nelson is 96, and I hope to live that long. But if I do, one thing I can promise you is that I will not put my forehead against the camera on a Zoom call.
Listen, I do Zoom calls with my mother and her husband. Yes, you will. You will be way too stupid to know how to operate whatever it is that's pointing at you.
Yeah, his aesthetic can best be described as post-mortem.
Yeah,
I just gotta say though, I thought he looked like, considering that 90% of the time when I see a picture of him, he looks like the Crypt Keeper's like older, uglier brother. I thought he looked pretty good. I thought they did some movie magic to make him look as good as he looked.
They
Well-
did that thing they did in The Irishman. They
They de-aged him.
de-aged him a century.
Well, for me, having his face so close to the camera gave me the disconcerting feeling that he was going to announce that we've always been at war with East Asia. The rest of the video are montages of Nelson hugging and shaking hands with one token member of every skin tone not represented in church leadership.
Well, do you remember at the beginning, Doug, though, he read his resume?
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about
Okay.
that, because it is interesting and I think somewhat damning. So the fact that in all these montages, however long ago they were filmed, Nelson was not practicing any form of social distancing is something we'll talk about. As for the content, I want to be fair. Nelson starts out, like you said, Uncle Mark, however vaguely, acknowledging the hard work of scientists in trying to curb the pandemic. And without saying the word mask, it at least showed someone putting a mask on for a fleeting second. He burnishes his own reputation by reminding us that he was, and this is true, a leading cardiovascular surgeon in the United States, a fact that, in my opinion, only makes what is to come all the more inexcusable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he tries to relate to those who have lost loved ones to this virus by talking about the death of his first wife to heart disease and two of his daughters to cancer.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Okay. I don't want to dance on anybody's grave here, but he is a cardiac surgeon. It seems like.
It's just fix her, goddammit.
Yeah.
Well, and so, that's fair enough. But again, intimacy with tragedy only makes what is to come worse.
Yeah.
Finally, Russell gets to the point, in the face of a global pandemic and at a time when the science has become very clear on how to prevent the spread of this thing, Nelson commands his flock to focus on the healing power of gratitude.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
He does get specifically pointless. Quote, I invite you, just for the next 7 days, to turn social media into your own personal gratitude journal. And he admonishes his followers to use the hashtag #GiveThanks.
Oh my God.
If doing nothing is the least one can do, tweeting about it only ranks slightly higher.
And it's not even tweeting about anything of substance or meaning. It's
Right.
just ruining everybody else's feed.
Right.
That's all it was.
It's called doom scrolling, motherfucker. He then counsels everyone to thank God through daily prayer because, quote, prayer brings forth miracles, which A, it most certainly does not, and B, we're supposed to express gratitude to the all-powerful being that just created this freaking virus in the first place and then watched it ravage his beloved children with cold indifference.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Now, having a positive attitude is never a bad thing, especially when facing the multifaceted catastrophe that is 2020. But this is thin gruel from leadership, and it's tantamount to the captain of the Titanic not charging for drinks after he hit the iceberg.
Yeah.
It's not nothing.
It's not nothing. I would appreciate that. I'd be like, dude, you better give me an upgrade.
As all the wealthy people leave their first class cabins, the poor people move in for the.
He lets the poor people in.
The bartender is like, seriously, this is last call.
Yeah, it's not nothing. It ain't much, and it's not going to save any lives. So, were it only this ham-fisted and saccharine video, it would be bad enough. But we need to go back to the beginning of this whole nightmare to see how thoroughly the leadership of the Mormon Church specifically has failed its members. Again, to be fair, once this thing really set in March, the church did cancel in-person Sunday church meetings and then general conference, which led to one of the only good things to come out of the coronavirus, the Hosanna shout.
the socially distant Hosanna shout.
Oh, my God.
In a strange room in front of a mostly dead plant arrangement.
Yeah, all dancing to their own lack of rhythm. Yeah. As I've said before, there is not a peeing section.
Dance like 15 million people are watching worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. But these cancellations were half measures, and a pandemic is not a time for half measures. As I've said before, there is not a peeing section in a public pool.
Right.
So once the science around social distancing and mask wearing became clear, Nelson could have mandated that all Mormons wear masks, and they would have. He could have tossed in a handy hashtag like hashtag Mormons wear masks. Oh, sorry. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints wear masks.
Yeah.
See what you did to your fucking idiot.
I think there's a word limit in hashtags, isn't there?
He could have made Mormons examples to the rest of the country in their diligence to stop the spread of COVID-19, and they would have, but he didn't. He could have denounced the anti-mask rallies taking place in Mormon communities around the state that made national news, but he didn't.
Yeah, the state he resides in and where how many Utahns are active Mormons? At minimum half, right?
Oh yeah, like 55, 60%.
He could have knocked this fucking curve. We're exploding.
We're exploding right now.
Yeah.
Utah
and
is...
it's going to get worse because we just had Thanksgiving and nobody did anything about it.
Yeah. He didn't tell people not to travel to Thanksgiving. I know. And as I said earlier, his resume and life experience make his failure even more acute. In his video, he called himself a, quote, man of science, not once, but twice. How much more egregious is it that he understands the science behind masks and social distancing and had the power to command millions of people to follow the science, and they would have, but he didn't?
I mean, yes, he was a doctor, but he's 96. Did they even have the germ theory of disease by the time he was practicing?
Yeah, he bled a lot of people.
Yeah, he was a leecher.
Yeah.
His familiarity...
Still is.
Yeah, true enough. His familiarity with personal loss should have made him all the more proactive in mandating the very things that would prevent others from facing that same loss, and they would have, but he didn't. Now, obviously Nelson is not alone in his failure to lead, but he is on a list that no person of conscience would be comfortable being on. Donald Trump, the highest political leader in the land, not only spread information, but the virus itself.
Yeah.
Conservative governors all over the country, including our own dim-witted Governor Herbert here in Utah, failed to take this seriously and only belatedly and begrudgingly did the right thing when it was almost certainly too late.
He is a man of such spectacular uselessness. I'm astonished.
But you know who beats him to the punch? Spencer Cox, our new governor, his former lieutenant. Yeah, we can pick him here. Add to that list of failures senators, representatives, mayors, pundits, and quote-unquote journalists. However, I think that religious leaders occupy a special place in all this fail. Their mandates carry the added weight of divinity to the billions who believe in them. And every religious leader from the Pope to Louis Farrakhan have failed their followers. I am sure there have been some religious leaders who have used their power to be proactive about COVID-19. I just couldn't find any.
Well, they were all Unitarian Universalists, and nobody goes to their church anyway.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
From Orthodox Jews to American evangelicals to Pentecostals to Mormons, the religious among us have been part of the biggest problem and remain, and now the Supreme Court has turbocharged them to remain part of the biggest problem during this horrible pandemic.
Yep. Yeah. So our political institutions failed us, but we can change that. And thanks to all that is good, we did so about 2 weeks ago, but our religions failed us too, and they are not subject to democratic forces. They failed to predict the pandemic and failed to effectively lead their people through it. I think they got to go. However, I have no doubt that many will greet the vaccine not as a scientific breakthrough that it is, but as a divinely inspired miracle that will affirm their faith, and they will draw none of the correct conclusions from this utter failure. So,
the correct conclusions being that Jesus is fake, but Dolly Parton is very real.
Yes, very true.
Do you remember there was a one of the Americans who survived Ebola, and he was a doctor who'd gone to Africa with like an evangelical doctors group. I know it's a thing, but and there he was laying in his hospital bed, recovering from what is a hideous and horrible disease, right?
Yeah.
And standing around him, completely covered in like level 4 environment suits, are his medical team. And the press is like shooting through a plastic thing or whatever. And he says, first and foremost, I want to thank Jesus Christ for saving my life.
Jesus.
It's like, what are you talking about? If I was standing next to him, I'd be like, dude, I'm right here. What?
Maybe that was the name of his doctor.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Well, so even though there are vaccines on the horizon, we are absolutely entering what will perhaps be the worst part of this pandemic so far.
For sure.
And man of science, Russell M. Nelson, wants you to bask in the healing power of gratitude. So fine. I am grateful for all the hardworking, unsung scientists that work so hard to provide a possible end to this nightmare. And I'm grateful that these true heroes are more likely to listen to this podcast than they are to the empty, pointless platitudes of Russell M. Nelson. So,
yeah, I'm grateful, if I may. Hashtag give thanks. I give thanks for whichever of our New Zealand listeners will sponsor me to come out and quarantine for 2 weeks and then live in their country where I can record remotely and not have to deal with the bullshit around here.
Right, and where their leader, who is a former Mormon, an atheist, and a woman,
Yeah,
did more than every fucking leader in this country, religious, secular, political, otherwise, to contain
Get
this
me
thing.
out there, you hobbit bastards. I need this.
Well, and, it should also be mentioned that we were raised, as young Mormons, we were raised to venerate the prophet.
Oh, my God.
The prophet is the highest authority on earth. He is
Bar none.
Unquestionable.
second only to Jesus fucking Christ himself, right?
Literally.
And we are
MD.
told when we're 12 years old and a bunch of men put their meaty hands on your bad haircut and give you a tummy full of the Aaronic priesthood, that you can then go and make miracles, right? That's kind of what we're taught. So here is this guy. Here is, the king on the chessboard, or more likely the queen, because she actually does shit. And he is literally powerless. If there's a time for miracles, let's see it happen.
Yeah.
Let's do
It's
it.
here.
And
we have reached it.
You could have said at any point in this crisis, I want all Mormons to wear masks. I want all Mormons to stop listening to QAnon. I want all Mormons to, to take this seriously. And they would have, by and large. And we could have...
You say that, but I'm going to push back because that was my impulse too for the longest time. But when representatives of the church, not the first presidency, but like the area, like the people in charge of the area of Utah said just those things, they were largely ignored. And the reason I think that they were ignored, and I think the reason why the church didn't take this stand, is because they figured out that what we have said before on this podcast, which is that there are now two religions for most of these people, and the one that's more important to them is Trumpism.
and that may be true, Dan, and they may have been afraid to find out how powerless they truly are.
Yeah.
But that's not an excuse for not trying.
Because we know that Mormonism is definitely hemmed in by that old religious chestnut, fuck around and find out.
Right.
But I think, Dan, there might be something to that they feel their grip slipping already, right? The young people are leaving faster than they can make them.
Yeah. Which is
and
impressive because Mormons do make some young folk.
They making babies, and they are also, because of in-home church that has been happening during that. Because the Mormons, to some credit, did stop having meetings, right?
For a while.
Now
they
they're back.
resumed.
They're back to it, but at least, unlike most American religions, they slowed the roll for a minute. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, you know what? This in-home church thing is better. Maybe we don't need to go back." So I think there's a panic spreading, perhaps, at Temple Square, and that Dan may have a real point there that they didn't want to say we all have to do this thing and then watch 20% of people do that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's the counterpoint to that. I think you're right, but what would have happened is 20% of their flock would have done the thing.
Oh, that doesn't change. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't change the fact that it was the right thing for them to do.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just
and
too
they would have been
chicken
borne
shit.
out. Like, if they'd listened to the medical science and pushed really hard, and some sizable percentage of Mormons said, "I don't want to do that." Well, they, at the end of what are only the last few days of his life, he could have looked back and said, "Well, at least I did the right thing."
Right.
But now you can't do that, Russell.
Yeah.
Rusty.
Yep. So thanks for the hashtag, dummy.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for ruining our feeds for 1 week.
Yeah, I'll put that over my fucking nose and mouth. That should work.
I hashtag give thanks that it's over.
Yeah, I saw a lot of ex-Mormons on Twitter were like, they felt very abused by the whole give thanks thing because it was a very performative thing for Mormons to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just said, just go away with this bullshit. So
Yeah,
there
put
you
on a
go.
mask.
Give thanks for nothing. That's what I say, Russell.
Let's get out of here. Well, friends, that is it for this week's show.
If you have a hashtag you'd like to shove your thanks up, please send us an email at howto@howtoheretic.com.
Or have one of your three heads leave us a voicemail at 903-888-HOW-TO, which is 903-884-6986. I'm also on Twitter at HowToHeretic.
And thanks to our incredible patrons, as always.
And thanks to our King of Hell, Cody Layton, for editing the show.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in.
Bye, friends.
Fairly well.